Okay, hey, so those of you that happen to be tuning in, if you are watching this either live or if you are watching this after the fact on YouTube, what you're watching is Stormfront Freaks Raw. So this is the raw recording of the show. It's unedited. Nothing of this is cut out. So you're catching it all tonight. If you want to listen to the edited version, we usually make that available the Sunday after we air the show. You can find that on any of the common podcast apps, including Spotify, iHeartRadio, but just search Stormfront Freaks, and you'll find the edited version available. You can listen to that if you want to do that as well. So plus we add some other things too in post-production. But if you're watching Raw, you also catch everything that we cut out. So who knows?
Yeah. We shouldn't say.
Yeah.
That's right. All right. So we'll do that. We'll take a break about 20 after, and we'll kind of talk and reconnect then. Okay. Everybody ready to roll except for MJ for the most part?
We're ready.
I'm good.
All right. Here we go. So, he can't hear us, so he's not going to be able to adjust our volume.
He can hear us. He just can't.
He can. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Either that or he's been drinking a lot.
I can't hear you anymore. So I don't know what to do. He does have a drink, which is good. All right, here we go. We're going to come in 3, 2. Hey, welcome everybody to the most entertaining weather podcast on your listening and viewing device. This is the award-winning Stormfront Freaks podcast. If you happen to be checking us out for the first time, hey, thanks for stopping by and joining us. You got to go to stormfrontfreaks.com because there you can access our library of all of our past shows with a lot of famous guests from the weather industry. We've had other storm chasers like Reed Timmer. Jeff Piotrowski's been with us. But tonight, this is episode 82. We're excited that you're joining us because we're joined by owner of Extreme Tornado Tours. Nick Drieschman is with us tonight. So we're looking forward to talking to Nick. We also have our lightning round with him, as we always do. We've got Tracker Chat, Tornado Talk, and you don't want to miss our hashtag Weather Fools. And the Weather Trollbot 5000 is making her appearance tonight as well.
Yes.
So we are in for a great show. But before we get to all of that, we always like to introduce our co-host so you can put a voice to the name and find out who's here tonight by stepping up to the Stormfront Freaks bar. We get to see what everyone's drinking. And if you listened to the last episode, you found out that this is a great segment. If you happen to be listening to us on your podcast app, now is the time to turn it to half speed and listen to what are you drinking at half speed. Dina, you probably missed it because you weren't here, so you have got to listen to that.
Oh, my gosh.
What are you drinking tonight, Dina?
All right. Well, mine's kind of boring, especially compared to Nick. I just have a Michelob Ultra. I just finished a coffee. And now I'm ready to go and have a beer.
Oh, wide awake drunk.
I'm mixing.
What do they say? Coffee before beer, never fear, right? Or is that one that?
I can go with that.
All right, that's good. So MJ is with us tonight in Minnesota, but he's mute. He's not speaking tonight. He's probably going to fall asleep on us too. But Maz is with us. What are you drinking tonight, Maz?
Well, I'll tell you, I saw MJ. It looked like a Captain and Coke. Do I get a thumbs up on that? Yeah, that's a Captain and Coke.
Job.
But it was in a smaller glass, so I don't know what's up with that. He's used to
He's got a picture on the side.
Yeah, he's used to the big gulp, right? Anyway.
Yeah, it doesn't have the 44 ounce.
I, on the other hand, are doing the Yingling Black and Tan tonight.
Ooh,
solid choice.
Yes,
tasty. Well, that's good, and we always tell our guests that if we had a real green room, it would always be fully stocked. But ours is a virtual green room, so it's always fun to find out what our virtual fridge was stocked with. So, Nick, what are you drinking tonight?
Yeah, man, I've got this, and I'm probably going to lose my guy card points on this one, but this is it's a 26 Brewing out of Colorado, Denver. It's an American cream ale. And it's got a little bit of tangerine in it. So, no, it's not super hoppy or crazy. I think it's delicious. It's a great summer beer. And I like this one. I brought it back from Denver. We can't get it here. And much like the Yingling, we can't get that, west of the Mississippi. So, yeah, this is an American import for me.
Is that like a Blue Moon almost because of the oranginess in it?
It definitely has that little bit of citrus, but like I really don't like those beers that have that like citrus taste that tastes like kind of like it's been added and it's like kind of almost chemically.
Like a wine cooler or something?
Yeah, anytime it gets like that, I just like a little subtle like hit of it. And this one has just a little bit of tangerine and it tastes real to it. And it won a bunch of awards and stuff. But hey, I'm not fancy. I like to do Coors Light too. That's my drinking beer.
But does it have alcohol? Like, does it actually, if it's a cream ale, does it have an alcohol content to it?
Yeah, no, it does. It's 5.2% ABV on this one and a very low IBU. But it's just really good summer drinking beer. It's hot in Oklahoma right now. It's heat index about 90 degrees.
Well, let's tell you what. Let's do this before people think we've got a beer podcast. Let's get to the weather. Sure. Let's get to the weather part. Dean, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Okay, we welcome Nick Drieschman. Nick decided to pursue storm chasing as a full-time passion in 2012, but honed his skills chasing monsoon season thunderstorms near his hometown of San Diego in 2001. He's a former chase partner of Reed Timmer, which we've had on the show before. Yep. Currently, Nick is based in Norman, Oklahoma, and a veteran guide and owner of Extreme Tornado Tours. So, Nick, I kind of was laughing a little bit because you're huge into storm chasing, but you came from San Diego. I mean, how big do these monsoon thunderstorms getting over there?
That's a really good question. And it's something that, especially when we, introduce ourselves to our tour guests, and I say I'm originally from San Diego, it's always kind of a laugh for them too. But, the monsoon, you may not see as many tornadoes, and especially not strong tornadoes. You may get a few here and there. We typically deal in land spouts or even in the Pacific, we'll get those winter storms and sometimes even summer storms that'll drop water spouts. And that's actually when I saw my first tornadoes were 2 water spouts. And I was very young, and that kind of ignited my passion. But, as time went on, I would see these huge storms and this cumulonimbus building out in the deserts. And I lived on the coast, and my idea was storm chasing back then didn't involve any radar or computers. I would literally just drive out to the desert, drive into the middle of these storms and get pummeled and then come back. And that was my idea of a storm chasing. But, out there, you get really isolated storms. The lightning is beautiful. So like my buddies, Michael Binsky, Will Wilkins, for example, Trey Greenwood, Adrian Moserez, they're all prolific chasers of the American monsoon. And we get some really great pictures out there. Maybe not as many big violent tornadoes, though.
So did you guys like pick up dirt and just sort of drop it in the wind like in Twister?
That's it, man.
How long have you guys been around? Like when did you first start and how's it, like what was the first like week where you're like, this is awesome? We're like, okay, we've got a ways to go to get to where we are in 2019.
Well, I mean, if we're talking about my tour business, I started with that in 2015. The business itself had started in 2008 by Reed Timmer himself. If we're talking about monsoon stuff, I really started getting into it around 2012 and making it kind of like my all-time hobby. And then it kind of became a job for me in 2015.
How'd you go from there though to deciding, I want to get into the tour business in the plains? What was that transition all about?
So I met Reed back in like 2013 or 2014 through some mutual friends. And I was kind of fanboying out. I'd seen the show on Discovery and all that. And I was a big fan of his, but we came to find out that, we hung out a few times and we kind of became friends. And he offered me a job in 2014 to be a guide. That ended up falling through, but he said, why don't you come out, spend some time. You can use my house as a home base here in Norman. So I came out by myself, and I found out very quickly how difficult it is to get next to these big storms that are east of the Rockies. So before that, I'd spent some time east of the Rockies in Canada because my parents lived there in southwest Manitoba, and I'd seen my first mesocyclonic tornado in 2012. But 2015 was the first year that I packed up my truck. I sold all my furniture, just drove right out here and made it my place to stay for a while and became a full-time guide with ETT, and then transitioned into a management position in March of 2016.
Wow. So I'm just curious, like the logistics, like if you said I want to start a company, I mean, there's so many questions, like how do you even start a business like that?
Sure. So, the tour business company, although it's a pretty niche business and overall, I would say that there's probably less than 20 of these businesses worldwide. it's very difficult to get into if you don't have some sort of like a stature beforehand. I was very lucky that, you know, I had Reed that actually gave me this business, or otherwise I definitely wouldn't be where we are today. That's for sure. But there's other great storm chasers out there that may have a big following, and you have to be kind of, maybe you're doing photography classes and then you're bringing out people and you've got your social media campaigns working really well, and then people want to go with you in storm chase. But there's a need for people like us, because people that wouldn't normally be able to otherwise need to see storms. They want to see storms. They've had these dreams of seeing a tornado or these severe weather events since they're kids, and they need to do it safely. And then on top of that, they need somebody that can help them out with the logistics of trying to move around masses of people in the middle of Kansas at 12 a.m. and finding a good place to stay. So that's why our tour companies exist.
So for Reed to give you a business, you guys must have been buds, or he lost terribly in poker.
Well, I can't comment on Reed's gambling prowess live here, but Reed and I have definitely been good friends. I do consider him one of my best friends, and but I think that it was more had to do with the fact that when I came aboard, that there was a little bit of a lack of structure. The people that were running it before, although they're great people, maybe it just needed a little bit more attention. And when I came aboard, I was suggesting things. We need to do this, guys, and this and that. And those people were, you know, kind of on their way out at the time, and it was just more of a time and place thing that it worked out that way. And Reed was moving in a different direction with his career, and it helped him out to free up some time. And although he wasn't really kind of taking care of things at ETT at the time, it allowed him to kind of do what he wanted to do, moving on to things like AccuWeather and things like that. So I was just very fortunate, and I've worked very hard for it, and I don't take it for granted.
So how many people do you usually take out per tour? Are you in a van? Are you in a truck? Do you have multiple cars? What?
All of the above. So we use Ford E350 vans. They're actually 15 passenger vans, but we take out the rear seat. So we have 3 rows back there for the people. Then you have your guide, a driver, and a guide up front. And we don't ever put more than a total of 8 people in each van. So that way the 6 guests that are in the back each get their own window seat, and then we've got enough room for the luggage in the back. I do own 5 of these vans. At the most, I operate up to 3 of them at a time. And I think our record is just right around like 22 people or something like that, which is interesting for hotels when you're in the middle of nowhere.
So go ahead.
Well, I was just going to ask what comes with an ETT tour? So if I were to go ahead and sign up and give you my moolah, what am I going to get?
Sure. So there's 5, 7, and 10-day tours that we offer. With that, you get all of your lodging included. So if you get a 7-day tour, you're going to get 7 nights of lodging. You would fly into one of our host cities, either OKC or Denver. We're going to have an orientation meeting, get all your safety stuff done, go out to dinner. The next day is your first chase day. You're basically going to arrive with us. We're going to take care of everything, all of your chasing, all of your safety, getting next to these tornadoes, where you're going to sleep at night. The only thing you have to worry about is paying for your food. And then we also offer some extras on the side, like a t-shirt like this. This is one of our new t-shirts that we've got. And we do some decals, and then they also get a season recap digital DVD that is kind of a best of moments and some of our candid highlights from the season.
So who's typically your client? I mean, do you get like a certain subset of the population that comes in?
Definitely. Yeah, the demographic age-wise is across the board. We've had 16-year-olds that are accompanied by a guardian. That are still in high school. They're pursuing a meteorology degree later on in college, all the way up to someone in their 70s from the UK. The areas are primarily a good mixture between US and international, and the international guests are typically always Australian, UK, and then we get a little mix of kind of others. This year was really kind of a variety of people. We had guests from Finland, we had a lady from Russia, we've had all sorts. So yeah, it kind of Abu Dhabi. So it's really cool. But I would say about 50 to 60% of our guests are recurring guests that come back every year. They immediately rebook their tours. This is what they do. They work all year long to be able to come out. This is their idea of a perfect vacation. They're like us. They've loved weather since they were little kids, and they just want to go with somebody that takes care of the logistics. And we have a gentleman that just signed up for 4 tours in a row with us. He's been on something like 15 or 16 tours with us, and he's seen 100 tornadoes in the past 4 years.
It's a groupie. I love it.
Yeah, definitely. But he's a great guy. This guy was literally taking giant power poles and tossing them off the road after the Chapman, Kansas tornado in 2016. And he's at gas stations washing down the windows. And we try and tell him, Roy, man, you got to let it go, man. We'll do the windows. Don't worry about it. And this guy's a team player, and he's now a great friend of ours. And we love all of our guests, but we've got a special place for Roy.
Is his name Bruce Banner?
Something like that. He's the Hulk of storm chasing tour guests for sure.
Yeah,
All right,
tossing telephone poles.
So
Right?
I'm in your. I know it's amazing. So I'm in your van. So I'm coming with you guys. We're on a tour. What do you guys? What's your van setup like? You talked about obviously chairs and seats and everything, but what's your setup up front as far as you guys and as the tour guides, and what are you telling your attendees, your guests? What are you telling them to do in order to monitor the storm, and what resources, I guess?
That's a good question. So we typically have a lead van that's operated by one of our drivers and lead guides, Blake Brown. He's a prolific chaser in his own right, and also a veteran storm chaser, Kevin Rolfs, who is our OU trained meteorologist. And Kevin's up in that front seat. He's dealing with real-time navigation of both the weather and the roads. Myself and my wife, Ashley, are in the following van, and we're taking care of things too, and she's looking at that type of things. And so these vans would be full of about 12 people totally. That's an average tour. Sometimes we do a one van tour, sometimes we may have 3 vans, and inside of these vans we actually have drop down 17-inch HD monitors. Sometimes we'll put up the radar. We have high quality boosting internet in there that boosts our unlimited internet. We're able to provide a live stream. And we're using some of the best radar products out there from Gibson Ridge and from Radar Scope on our phones.
Nice.
And as we're moving through, we're keeping people informed about things. So a typical day with us would be waking up in the morning, heading over to maybe a Starbucks, doing a forecast meeting with Kevin. The guests are able to get around and really look at kind of these, nowcasting techniques that we use in our forecasting techniques to take them out there. And as we progress through the day, we're making these stops on the side of the road. We have a color-coded safety system for how close they can be to the vans. We're really big on safety out there. And what we like to do is just kind of stair step with the storms. And sometimes we'll get the guests out for an hour. And sometimes it's, hey, there's a code red. You need to just walk right out of the door of the van, stay in a line, take your picture, and hop right back in, and we got to move. And it can be really exciting. It can be really kind of slow-paced and beautiful. So it's a little bit of everything out there for sure.
This sounds awesome. So, like, if I want to sign up for it, do you go to, like, your website? Like, how early do you usually do it? Because being a meteorologist myself, I might be looking a week before going, man, next week's going to just be crazy. But then it may be full. Your tornado tour may be full.
That's true. And that does happen a lot. And in fact, this year it was really big on that. When we had that really big May portion where, we had a lot of tornadoes, the emails were very busy. And unfortunately, those tours had been sold out months and months before. In fact, looking ahead to 2020 right now, I would say about half of our tours are half full already.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and typically that's from those returning guests. And, there may be a day where we're able to run more vans, but I don't really feel comfortable with it. I think that 3 would be our max because we want to be able to be nimble out there. There's other tour companies that may run some more vans, but we like being able to be nimble. We have our Midland communications, and we're constantly talking to each other, and that keeps us able to stay with the storms. And also the first thing is safety at all times. And we're known for getting close. But we can only do that in certain circumstances. But that's one of the things that ETT is known for.
So if you have 5, 7, and 10 day, is that right? Tours?
That's correct. Yeah.
So what's the logistics? How do you do that if you're out there on a 5 day and it's like, man, tomorrow you're on the 5th day and tomorrow's going to be great.
Can you do an add-on?
We can, and we have done that. In fact, we've had days before when, even though a tour has seen lots of tornadoes, it's been a great tour. We're at the last day. It's a travel day back to the hotel. It was an off day for chasing. And then we've got a high risk on what we call our off day. Well, that's our only day to go back and finally sleep maybe in our own beds and get some laundry done. And we've taken that day and we've said, you know what, if anybody can switch a flight, if anybody drove here, if you can make it to the vans and go out with us, we'll have you back at the hotel by the end of the night. It may be pretty late, but we'll take you out for a free additional day for no extra cost. we've done that before with guests for sure. Yeah, absolutely. But it gets really tough when you're out there, and you imagine if you're on a tour. Well, these patterns, they kind of come in ebbs and flows. You guys, meteorologists, storm enthusiasts, so you know, especially during springtime, we'll have a wave of 2 to 3 days of severe weather coming through, and then we'll have a little bit of lull in the ridging pattern, et cetera. And so sometimes you get a tour that just hits one of those lows, and if it's a short tour, it's tough. You may only get 1 or 2 good chase days. So we do whatever it takes to get our guests on storms. We'll drive from the Canadian border to the Mexican border. Our tours have gone as far east as Florida. And all the way to the Rocky Mountains in the west. So we do whatever it takes for our guests.
I think we need to book a Stormfront Freaks one in May next year. What do you guys think?
Do it. Let's do it.
I've been promoting that. I'm for it.
I'm serious. I'm totally in for it.
Okay.
Have you guys have you guys done a lot of chasing before? Not to ask you guys questions, but have you guys seen tornadoes?
Mainly, I'm the one like in the studio doing the radar,
right.
Doing it that way. So.
Gotcha. Cool. Well, let's talk about that.
Okay.
Cool. So, hey, you guys have heard me talk about my favorite daily weather app, okay? Atmosphere Weather. It's the last daily weather app that you're going to want to use. It shows the entire daily forecast each hour on one screen around a 24-hour clock with a weather radar in the center. And now, if you're a baseball fan, you can actually view each day's Major League Baseball game time right on the hourly weather dial. And if it looks good, you can also order your tickets to the game right from the app, which is pretty awesome.
Cool.
So you got to try this to believe it. While you're listening to us right now, go ahead and download Atmosphere Weather. It's now on iOS and Android. There's a full-featured free trial, then a basic version that's free once the trial is over. So give it a spin. Search Atmosphere Weather in your app store, or you can also visit atmosphereweather.com. Trust me, it'll be awesome. So, hey, we're going to take a quick break, give you time to go ahead and refill your drink, and check out our exclusive tracker chat with the tornado trackers. And they're going to talk about the best practices during the best chase days. And while they'll do that, we're going to go ahead and we will be right back. All right, I had to type that in, obviously.
Fast typer with one hand.
Getting I shouldn't say I can't believe, but it's crazy that it's filling up for next year already.
Yeah, it's exciting. Like I said, it was Reed's company, and so we were really fortunate to have kind of his presence to back it, but it's been hard to keep it going. But I think that a lot of that just has to do with like our group, and we're very successful out there. And I think once the guests come out there with us, and they actually, because obviously for good reason, a lot of people are, they're a little bit scared and kind of worried about what it's like out there. But once they see us operate, Kevin's been with us. He saw his first tornado way back in the early 2000s. And so we've got a good team going. And I think once they see us like out there doing our thing, they can really see how we operate and feel a lot more comfortable with it. So,
cool. All right. It says here.
This sounds like so much fun with all these people, like, especially all these, like, it sounds like not only fun for weather, but like you could totally make so many friends.
So that's like one of our biggest things, especially.
Save that. Save that.
Let's not do the interview during our break. Other good stuff. I will say this, Nick. It sounds like you've got several customers watching us right now.
Oh, great!
At least one from the UK.
Cool.
It says. So a lot of people in our chat right now.
Yeah.
So all right. So here's what we'll do. We'll come back. Dina, you can go ahead, and if you want to ask that question about making friends and all that stuff.
Sure.
And then I've got a couple questions too to cover before we get to our lightning round. We'll do the lightning round and then take another break after that.
So MJ, when you edit this and we come back in, since she's going to ask that question, can you play the theme song from The Courtship of Eddie's Father? People, let me tell you about my best friend.
We just use your voice.
There we go. All right, so here we go. We'll come back in 3, 2. Hey, welcome back, everybody. We got Nick Drieschman, owner of Extreme Tornado Tours, here with us. Dina, you were talking during the break a little bit about getting a group together and doing this, but you mentioned one of the other benefits, I think, of doing a tour, which was what?
How making so many cool friends, especially around the world. How much fun is this? It's like a part, almost like I don't want to say party because it could be serious, but it's also a party, right?
It's a full-blown party for sure. And like it's one of the things that I touch on, like when we first, like especially when we have new guests and we're doing our introduction and these people have just stepped off planes. Some of them have flown across the world. They're internationally, never even stepped in the USA before. And one of the first things I mentioned is, besides the obvious needs of wanting to see a tornado or severe weather, we're here because where else are you going to pack weather enthusiasts all into one van on a cross-country road trip? And it's just the coolest thing ever. So when you're hanging out with that many like-minded weather enthusiasts, it's a super magical thing. We've had people that have met on our tours and have become married. We've had people become engaged to be. I'm one of them. I met my wife on our tours actually in 2015. And we've had other guests that have met.
Wait, did you give her a discount or a rebate on the tour?
On the next one. On the next one, she came on for free.
You're too kind.
So yeah, it's awesome.
So I need to ask you this. So May 28th, there was an accident near Lawrence, Kansas. Another storm tour company had a couple vans get sideswiped by a tornado and roll. What have been your discussions and thoughts and decisions that you've made since then?
My first thought about the incident is that, and when I first heard about it, was I wanted to know if anybody was hurt. When I found out it was only minor injuries, I was really happy about that. To be honest, it's the only thing that I care about. I don't care if they're my competition. I don't care about anything other than the fact that no one was hurt or worse. And that's really important. What I have to say in general to that is storm chasing as a hobby is a dangerous sport, no matter how good you are. I think we know that some people that have been highly skilled in this hobby have lost their lives. And albeit it only happened once, you can't predict Mother Nature perfectly. And I don't care who you are, how good you are. People make mistakes. Things happen. Things that you're normally used to seeing after years and years and years may switch like that. And so I don't fault anybody for ever getting themselves into a bad place storm chasing. And I think that that's what happened to them. And overall, I'm just happy that no one was hurt or worse.
How do you, and maybe it hasn't yet, but I guess how is that event going to change the entire storm tour industry?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not too sure about that. I think that overall, most of the guests that are in the know kind of know that these things happen, especially if they've been out there before and they see how quickly things can change. They're going to know that, this is maybe just a fluke type thing that just happened. Maybe there was a mistake made. It was not my job to judge that. I wasn't there. But I think that overall, the people that do understand storm chasing and fans of it will kind of know that sometimes accidents happen. And I hope that it doesn't affect the industry in a bad way.
You're very hospitality oriented. I mean, is that kind of like your background? Because you should have a hotel.
Thank you. No, I appreciate that.
Save a hell of a lot of money on the road if you had your own hotel.
Well, I have come from like a career background my entire life. I've worked since I was 13 years old. I've never not had a job. I've been in retail management at larger businesses before. I've had my own companies before and that type of thing. So this was kind of a perfect mix of needing to come into a place of management, ownership, and being able to do what I love. So I feel very fortunate for that.
So how do you plan? Because some of the guys are saying online, and great food too.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how are you doing the food thing? Is it you're stopping in specific places, or are you bringing stuff, or
pulling a grill behind him?
Yeah, like my wife likes to bring like carrots in the cooler, so she's a personal.
That's the good food they're referring to.
It doesn't work for the guests, but it's good for her and us sometimes. But she's a personal trainer, so she's always got some nice healthy snacks with us. We keep a big cooler. We give our guests free waters and drinks and stuff like that all the time, but we always go out somewhere. So obviously, if we have a little bit of time, if we're in a certain place that has great food, it's all about the best barbecue places out there. You got Betty Rose's Little Brisket in Abilene, Texas. You got to do the Big Texan Steak Ranch in Amarillo, Texas. I've probably been there about 30 or 40 times.
How many steaks? Like this
So they have the 72 ounce, and it's about that thick. It's about that thick, and then it comes with a baked potato. It comes with like shrimps. Comes with a salad. And we actually had a guide, a great guy. His name's Bart Comstock, and he's moved on to bigger and better things. But he actually finished the entire meal, and he was halfway down onto the last half of that mashed potato and couldn't get it done.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So
Wasn't
you
there
did
a
an
movie?
hour and it's free.
Exactly. It's an hour. They put you up on a big stage and they hit a timer and they're yelling at the whole place. And the place is like it's like an opera house for steak eating. So, but here's the kicker. There's a girl that did it and she weighs like 120 pounds. She did 3 of those challenges in like 22 minutes.
No.
Dead serious.
Yeah, it's like
Dead
that guy.
serious.
It's like that guy that used to the speed food eater.
Yeah,
that would just eat billions of hot dogs, and it was like a little skinny
exactly.
American Asian guy. It was just.
It's really gross to watch her do it because she just goes full caveman on that thing, or cave woman on it. It's pretty gross.
So staying on the gross side, when you have a red what'd you call it, a red alert, red flag, when it's you step out, get a camera
Code
shot,
red.
and get back in.
Code red.
Okay, so you got a code red, and everybody's excited. You know someone's got to go to the bathroom.
I was just
right.
thinking.
So is it like a catheter with every tour? What are we talking here?
So that's always definitely a source of contention on the tours, and definitely besides hotels at night, one of our biggest difficulties. We tell the guests before we start out, hey, some of you ladies might not be into it, but we do have something called a bush bathroom. Some of the guys are okay with that, but we try and let them know to like kind of keep, don't grab that large unsweet iced tea with lunch that day when you're chasing, right? So try and kind of watch the liquid intake, try and get a bathroom stop in just right before we chase. And it usually works out pretty good. But yeah, there's been some times that it's been a pretty quick run to find some sort of a gas station after a chase.
Okay. Explain to me what the bush thing is.
That would be peeing on the side of the road.
Yeah, just like it
I was
sounds.
thinking though, but like if you're out in the plains, everybody's there to take a peek.
Wait a minute.
It's true.
You should have your own ETT bushes that you bring along.
There you go.
Put people around, or put not people around. Put the bushes around them. Yeah.
So we've always talked about installing, just like you said, some sort of a catheter system, some sort of a tubing that just goes to, they can pull it right out underneath their seat in the van.
Wow.
And then it has a tube that goes right down underneath, and then we could provide some sort of septic system or something like that.
I swear I saw a picture on Twitter or something where there was a chaser that had somehow just naturally might have had a hole in the bottom of their vehicle.
Yeah,
really?
Did just that. Had some kind of funnel system and
Man.
That's such a dude thing.
watered the road.
it would be better for chasing if you didn't have to stop. If you didn't ever have to stop, then you'd be a pretty darn good chaser.
Yeah, but that's not the best place to yell funnel. And, so.
No.
You
Hey,
know, everybody's got a camera.
tell me, Nick, a little bit. So insurance wise, right? So that's to me the threat of an incident that we had in May with the other tour company. In asking how is that going to change the industry from an insurance side of things, what's the kind of insurance that you have to have or you have to get?
It totally depends. There's some companies that just kind of run your basic car insurance. Other companies, such as mine, we use commercial insurance that includes a medical liability and that type of thing.
Like an umbrella kind of deal or what?
Yeah, I mean, it's something that's your basic commercial vehicle insurance, and it has, up to $1 million to $2 million worth of general liability insurance. And then you can have some sort of business blanket liability insurance and that type of thing. But it's very difficult when you try and go to these people and say that you chase tornadoes. If you're being honest about it, you're going to have a really hard time doing it. And it's been one of the more difficult things that I've figured out in my business. But it is something that we carry. And I'm just hoping that I don't have any, letters from my insurance finding out about other stuff. But, then again,
so you tell them you're doing a cloud watching tour, right? Or you're rainbow searching tours.
No, I'm completely honest about what we do because I have to be. Because if something does happen,
you're not covered then.
You have to be completely honest with these people. And so we go through specialized brokers for touring businesses. I have a great guy out of California that helps me out with this type of thing. TIB insurance. He's great for that type of thing. And so, you've got to have it, but you have to be honest with them because if something happens and you're doing something that you didn't cover, then you're in trouble.
Okay, so you're talking lodging, food, you got insurance, you got all kinds of stuff. What's the difference between a 5-day and a 10-day tour? Is it a big cost difference between
Yeah,
the
I
two?
mean, the 5 days are $2,000. The 7 days are $2,700, and the 10 days are $3,600. So they're expensive, but then when you kind of think about things on my end, they start to add up. To give you an example, I spent $60,000 on hotel rooms in just these past 3 months.
Wow.
Whoa.
So
Are you getting points?
I am.
Wow.
I am. And then we use them to get more hotel rooms again to keep our costs down. So I live in a house that I rent, for $800. I don't have expensive cars. I have the same 6D full frame camera that I've had for 7 years. We're not well off. We just like to be able to put food on our table and, have a good time and still be able to chase. And as long as I can do that for a little while and maybe one day down the road buy a little house or something, that would be nice for me.
That's very cool.
Yeah, very cool.
That's cool. Wow. All right. Well, hey, that's the sound. Nick, it is time for our lightning round. So this is our game show of flashy questions for our guests that we do every episode. We invite you to play along at home as well. But tonight, Nick, we're playing a little game that we're going to call Tour or False. You get it? Tour or false?
That's clever.
That's
Tour
pretty good.
or false. And so what I'm going to do is I looked up some strange and bizarre tours in the United States.
Oh, no.
And I've combined them with some tours that aren't actually real. And it's going to be your job to tell us which is true, which is tour, and which is false.
Okay, I got you.
So that's going to be the show. So that's what we're going to do. And I always tell the freaks, too. They can always give you
Chime
ideas.
Okay.
I always tell our guests, don't listen to them. Because
We don't have the answer key. Only Phil has it.
So anyway, all right. So here we go. Let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to give you the first one. This is in the city of New Orleans. It is the French Quarter Vampire Haunt. The French Quarter Vampire Haunt. Is this tour or false?
I believe that's tour.
I think it's tour too.
That is correct. That is a real tour. If you're in New Orleans, you can tour New Orleans and apparently visit vampire haunts.
Cool.
High octane blood.
All right, here's another one. You could go to New York City, and one of the tours in New York City is a tour of morbid sights in a 1960s hearse. True or false?
Oh.
I'm going to have to go with false on that.
That is actually
man.
true. Yeah, I mean, you could do lots of weird shit in New York City.
It's in a hearse, though. Like, how much of a tour is that? Here's the hearse, guys, with the weird stuff in it.
Plus you're laying down,
Oh, they drive you around in it. Okay, I got you.
Yeah, I don't know. All right, so here's another one. So you could visit Seattle. So in Seattle, they have a ketchup creation factory tour. Tour of the factories, ketchup factories.
Yeah, Seattle's weird, so I'm going to have to say that's tour true.
That's tour true?
Oh, that's true.
That is false. I totally made that one up. That's not true.
Like who would buy that? You know what I mean?
Tour ketchup.
People from the mustard tour?
Hey, who would go on the morbid sight tours in first?
I'll be really bad at this, I promise.
All right, here's one. You can go to Los Angeles, and you can get a tour where you practice escaping from the paparazzi. So it's actually a running tour of Los Angeles where you can pretend you're a celebrity. Tour or false?
Oh, man. I have to say tour.
Yeah.
That is correct. You can really do that. Yeah.
I've done it twice.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
All right. Another one. You can Austin. Go to Austin, Texas. They have a tour where you can check out the city chicken coops.
I'm going to go with false on that one.
Oh. There is a city chicken coops tour in Austin.
I mean, I know they like their food out there. There's some great barbecue out there, Franklin barbecue.
They must have a ton of chicken coops. All right.
Seems boring.
All right, last one. You could go to San Francisco and they have a tour of toxic sites in San Francisco. Is that tour or false?
I mean, how many toxic sites are there in San Francisco? I'm going to say false.
That is true. So that was actually true one. And I've never been to San Francisco. I just talked to someone who just visited there last week.
Okay.
And they said there are some spots of San Francisco that are unpleasant.
There you go.
Don't leave anything in your rental car. No matter where you are in the city, don't leave anything in your car, because there will be someone who will break into your car, literally break into your car and take it.
Well, there's got to be places like that in most cities.
Yeah. Anyway,
it's like the most expensive place to live for housing in the United States.
So great job, Nick. Thanks for having some fun playing along.
Thanks.
Tell us Nick, how can our listeners find Extreme Tornado Tours, and how can they, follow you guys on social media?
Yeah, so the website is www.extremetornadotours.com. Our social media is across the board, or at Tornado Tours. Sometimes on the Twitter, I believe there's a tornado_tours there. Facebook is facebook.com/Extreme Tornado Tours. And you can always just send us a message on the website or on the old Facebook over there, and we'll be happy to respond. And we appreciate any of your listeners that were interested. Please send me an email. We'll try and get you a little bit of a discount for listening.
Cool.
Awesome. Well, hey, thanks for doing that. Yeah. That's sweet. All right, so we're going to go ahead. We're going to take our final break with our Tornado Talk segment and the story of the 1978 4th of July tornadoes. So we'll be right back with Weather Trollbot 5000 and our Weather Fools. Stay tuned. All right,
cool.
Awesome. Nick, great job, man.
Yeah,
thank you. Fun. No, it was awesome. I really liked doing it, guys. It was super fun.
So
you were good.
Do us a favor. If you can give us a little sound bite and say, this is Nick Drieschman of Extreme Tornado Tours, and you're listening to the Stormfront Freaks podcast.
I can do that. This is Nick Drieschman, and you're listening to the Stormfront Freaks podcast.
Why don't you give a plug to your tour company while you say that?
So do it over again, like the whole thing.
Go ahead and throw your tour company in there. So if we use it again,
gotcha.
We're throwing your name out there.
This is Nick Drieschman, and you're watching the Stormfront Freaks podcast. Check out www.extremetornadotours.com for your touring needs. That sucked.
Okay.
Let's do another one. Your touring needs.
Just do this. All you got to say is, this is Nick Drieschman of Extreme Tornado Tours.
I can do that.
Stormfront Freaks podcast. Listening.
This is Nick Drieschman of Extreme Tornado Tours, and you are listening to the Stormfront Freaks podcast.
There you go.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right, so are you sticking around for our last two segments?
Did you guys need me? It's up to you guys. If you need me around.
I mean, we won't necessarily have any other questions for you, but you're welcome to stick around and comment on the stupid crap that we're going to say and cover. And
did you forget your catheter?
Yeah, I'll stick around. That's cool.
Okay.
And MJ, if you can hear me, I did not save when I came on this time.
How much time do I have? Can I jump up real quick?
Oh yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Yep.
Just 1 minute.
What else? Do we have any other MJ? Anybody we got to talk about on our chat? It's hard for you to do that one.
Well, you can.
This isn't in the recording, so you can unmute yourself and just say it.
Instead of pantomiming.
Or sign language. Not really. Okay. Not really. Nobody to comment about. Hey, I do want to
mute in order to because I'm hearing the sound in a different way. It's going to sound really weird. If I do that, then I can't hear you, but I can talk. You can hear me. Maybe sounding kind of wonky.
Yeah, I can hear you. You do.
No, there's a lot going on. He brought a lot of guests along with him.
Nice.
And having a good time to talk stories about the tour and some of the the Big Ten Texans, I think, is what about trying the whole of them chiming in about it. So
hey, I'm gonna say this. Luna Light sent me a couple direct messages on Twitter, but so this doesn't have to necessarily go on air, but I didn't mention that there's a storm chaser that passed away here just last week.
Yeah.
Dale Sharp, who's from Australia. And he was, if you guys don't know the story, this was at night. It was actually for the most part, after the chase day, but he hit a deer. Ooh. And he got out of the car, kind of pulled a little bit off the side of the road, but got out of the car. But there was another car coming. To get out of the way of his vehicle, it had to swerve into the ditch. Well, he saw that car coming, and so to escape it, he also went into the ditch. So they both kind of chose to go in the ditch, and he got hit by that car and passed away. But was apparently a really good friend as well from Daniel.
Daniel Shaw.
Who we've had Daniel on before as well, but who's from Australia too. But she did mention there is, and I'll share for anybody that happens to be on watching the Raw show right now, they do have a GoFundMe for his family because he did have, I believe, a little girl and a wife that he left behind.
That's
but
horrible.
if you go to GoFundMe.com, just search Dale Sharp with an E, DALESHARPE.
Okay.
And there is a GoFundMe campaign going on there for anybody that wants to help contribute.
Maybe we can do something like a show in honor of Dale or something. On the website or something like that. I don't know how we do
that
it.
would be nice.
Yeah.
Might not be a bad idea. Okay, so let's do this. Maz, you are introducing Weather Fools.
That's right.
I've got 3.
Oh, awesome.
Wow.
They're pouring in. I can't. I mean, they're all over. Weather Fools are just jumping right now.
Yeah.
Out of everything. So I've got 3. I know, Dina, you've got 1.
I've got 1.
Okay.
Perfect. That's just the right number right there.
So we got that, and this is episode 82, Maz.
Yep.
And then we'll do Weather Trollbot 5000. I have 4 examples. One of them, Dina, is yours, Christy Gordon.
Right.
It looked like that was from a few years ago, but
it probably was, but I'm not good at finding those trolls.
Yeah, that's okay. You just get on Twitter. You gotta check Twitter.
There was
Twitter,
one.
Yeah.
There was one that.
But I'll kind of introduce it. I might ask you a question or two about it in the process.
I'll just say this: I don't know how you ladies deal with the guys who post crap on Twitter. I am like, dude,
and this is what's freaking stupid. It's like they're always every once in a while we get a James Spann one.
Yeah.
But they're all like women. Like either the women are doing a good job of calling these fools out.
Yeah.
Or they're getting because I can't imagine the guys aren't getting them either for cutting into their bachelorette show and for all that shit's got to happen to them.
Or the guys think they're going to get a date from this or something. I'm like, what? No, never going to happen, buddy.
Yeah, the guys don't like it cutting into their baseball or NFL.
Yeah.
All right, so I've got 4 of those, and then we're going to skip Freak Fan Box for this episode. So I will close it out after we're done with Weather Trollbot.
So I'll do Dina first, and then I'll have you do your 3, and then you can.
That works.
What you want to do? Cool. Okay.
Okay, Maz, I will bring you back in 3, 2.
Welcome back. It's time now for Weather Fools, and we are loaded for bear this week. There's a lot of people doing some stuff. Let's just say that. Stuff that is just not right. Okay, so Dina, you've got one to start us off for this week, right?
I do, and it's kind of funny because, I'm not sharing here. This starts
well, you have to. It's a show.
No, I don't know why it's not sharing. I hit share screen. Maybe it's my new setup here because I've got a couple new windows and monitors and stuff. But we'll put the link on. But this woman thought she was going to be really funny and drive her like minivan on the beach, but she drove it a little too far in by the water and got stuck. And I mean, come on, who drives like she's gonna? It's not an amphibian car. It kind of goes in and then now it's stuck and it's gonna get kind of like pushed out into the water. So it's kind of dumb. Don't drive your car.
I saw that, Dina, and I don't know why it wasn't like it looked like a PT Cruiser kind of vehicle.
I don't know. To me,
what the hell was that doing on the beach?
Turn around, don't drown.
Yeah, like don't even go on the beach.
Yeah, turn around, don't drive into the beach.
Those probably aren't even front wheel drive, right?
But come
No,
on.
they're not. If that's it was not a 4-wheel drive vehicle.
Or
No.
front wheel. It's probably a rear wheel.
Yeah, but it's like, come on, don't drive your car. Plus, it ruins the paint.
You're going to have some problems with salt. Just saying. All right, good stuff. And Phil.
Yeah,
How
so
many
I've got
has this
3.
one?
I mean,
Yeah,
these weather fools just seem to leap out at me. I see these all the time. So the first one, this is gonna be good because this is an audio weather fool. This was a caller called into a TV news station from Whitehaven, Pennsylvania, and they had a comment about a weather comment and how tornadoes are created that they were complaining about. So listen to this.
We didn't have tornadoes here until we started putting into traffic circles. Because on the count of, you want to know why? When people go round and round in circles, it causes disturbance in the atmosphere and causes tornadoes.
Yeah, so there you go. It's the roundabouts seem to be the reason why we have tornadoes.
Solid logic there.
Wait.
That's solid.
That's the northern accent. Just saying.
It could be, but it was Whitehaven, Pennsylvania is what it said.
is it
north of here.
Transplant. Could be a transplant, but so just so you know, if you want to complain to your local county or city about the roundabouts they're putting in, just let them know that there's a rumor that they also will create a tornado.
I blame the crop circles, but that's me.
Yeah.
All right, next one I've got. This is from Sean Wheat. And Sean Wheat is from, where's he from? He's from WIWB in
BW.
Kansas.
Mm.
What?
WIBW.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I got the W's. Yeah, WIBW. There you go, Sean Wheat. So he has a video on Twitter at WIBW Sean of this. So this is the Country Stampede. It's like a music festival going on, and it's a video of weather, and there are people just fleeing from the stage. And if you watch the video, there's like a huge, massive lightning strike in the behind the stage, like right there.
Oh.
And people are like, and if you look at it, you'll realize that for the most part, it's been evacuated. There's not that many people around anymore. But there's enough stupid weather fools that are still hanging out that they decided, let's wait till we could potentially get struck by lightning. And this comes, if you guys remember a few years ago, remember Indianapolis? There was some stage that and it wasn't even a tornado, it was just straight line winds, but killed people.
Yeah, it did.
From that
So
thing.
some people think that trailers attract tornadoes. I have this feeling these county things attract storms.
There's got to be something to that. All right, and then the last one I've got is from TTN Denver, Total Traffic Denver on Twitter. It's on Twitter, they're at Total Traffic DEN. But once again, there's a video of I-25 and an overpass during a hailstorm. And there's weather fools again. Look, it's a 3-lane highway, and now most people are off the side, right? But there's the far right lane. People have parked in the traffic lane, preventing people from going by. So thank God they at least left 2 lanes open so people can get through.
It's one of my pet peeves as a storm chaser out there.
It's
so unsafe. Can you imagine if a tornado is coming?
Right.
To them?
And no one can get to safety because you got a bunch of frickin' fools thinking they can seek shelter underneath, and then everybody else is behind them, and they can't get out, they can't get anywhere, they can't drive anywhere.
And it's barely raining, it looks like.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, but look at the hydroplaning. I mean, there's a lot of water on that. I see people trying to pull out. I'm like, that is just wrong.
Yeah. I just this always just drives me nuts that people do that. I did my rant, I think, on the last episode, but anyway,
you're not alone.
So those are my weather fools.
That's your 3. And in case you missed those, you can check them out at stormfrontfreaks.com. In the podcast area, it's episode 82 show notes, and we'll have all those links to those 4 locations. Good job, guys.
Very good. All right. Hey, and we decided we were getting some things piled up. It was time to bring our Weather Trollbot 5000 out of the garage.
Uh-oh.
And if you're not familiar with our Weather Trollbot, we bought her at a garage sale. She was pretty inexpensive. It's about, I think, the learning level of a CNC, if you guys remember those old CNC things. But regardless, what we do and how we now use her is if we find trolls on social media or anywhere else that are trolling our weather friends, usually what you get is you get a stupid troll comment, and then you get a nice response from the meteorologist or the weather person that was affected. They're nice about it, and they're like, hey, whatever. But what we do is we like to input all that information into our troll bot and find out what our meteorologist or what our weather friend was really thinking when they responded to that troll. So we're going to start off tonight. We got 4 that we're going to cover with you. The first 2 actually come from our friend Ginger Z. We've had her on the show, ABC News meteorologist. I actually just saw these yesterday.
I think I saw that one.
And I made a comment. I'm like, Ginger must have known we were bringing out the Trollbot tonight because she had to fill us in on a couple. So the first one, this was from Troy. On Twitter, his handle is @Sooners5150. And we're not afraid to put people under the bus here. But he said, @GingerZ, WTF is Cubs Stadium. Try Wrigley Field. So apparently Ginger must have said something about Cubs Stadium, maybe instead of calling it Wrigley Field.
Yeah.
But Ginger's reply was, yes, I worked in Chicago for 5 years, so I'm aware. I just don't use a script, so just said Cubs Stadium, which it is as well, she said, right? And she had a little wink emoji, and she said, Happy Wednesday. Right, so she was just kind of being nice. So here's what we're going to do. So I'm going to take that information, and I'm going to type it into our Weather Trollbot 5000, and we're going to process this and kind of see what the Trollbot kicks out, what maybe she really thought. So let's hear.
Here's what Chicago Ginger Z was really thinking about. I lived in Chicago for 5 years, dumbass. I know Wrigley Field. Try speaking on live national television without a script and we will see how quickly you can name various landmarks on the fly. So fuck off.
Ginger get a little spicy. I should have warned I should have warned the kids. This is time to put the earmuffs on. I forgot the warning on that end, but Ginger's getting a little spicy on that one. So that was the first one.
F-bomb.
Yeah, I've never heard her actually say that, but according to Weather Trollbot, that's apparently what
MJ can beep that out, right?
Yeah, he'll beep it out on the actual show.
Okay.
But if you're watching live, you just, like I said, it's raw. You get it all. All right. So second one is Ginger as well. This so you know, this has since been deleted by the troll, but his name was Greg. He was @Greg BRI 230-50304.
Jeez.
So it sounds like a Russian troll to me. But his comment's since been deleted. But here's what it said. It said, @GingerZ, it's going to be so hot. If you were lying out by the pool in a thong, I would like to cook brunch on your butt.
Oh my God. Dope.
Doesn't that sound intelligent, right? So here was Ginger's reply. I mean, very professional. She just said, I would not suggest trying this in the heat wave. Skin just won't heat to the level necessary for brunch. #science, little wink emoji.
Good job, Ginger.
Right, wasn't that sweet? So let's go ahead and type this into Trollbot. Let's see what maybe she was.
What was she really thinking?
What she was really thinking. This could be really interesting. All right, she kicked it out. Let's hear what she says. Remember, I got her on a garage sale, so.
Here's what Brunch Ginger Z was really thinking. First, I am going to call you out in front of my 2 million followers to see if go hide under a rock. Check. Second, who the fuck cooks eggs on an ass? It will not work. Yo, bitch. It is called science.
That's good.
Nice.
Oh, wow. Ginger. She's a spicy one. Okay, next one we've got Dino. Got this from you.
There's more.
It keeps coming. So Christy Gordon, she's a TV meteorologist in British Columbia, but she was 5 months pregnant. So you know it's going to be coming, right? The morons that need to comment about pregnancy. And so this troll actually wrote a letter. So this was a written letter sent to the studio, and it was signed by quote unquote the group.
Uh-huh.
And so it said, your front end looks like the Hindenburg. Your rear end looks like a brick fill in the blank house.
Wow.
Man.
So Dina, you found this one, right?
Yeah.
All right. So Christy's reply was, I would say to have some compassion on me or on any woman who is going through pregnancy.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
So
she looked great. I personally watched the video.
I know.
She looked
This
beautiful.
is what blows me away, what people think. Okay, so let's type it into Trollbot, and here we go. This might be a good one. We'll have to check this one out. All right, let's see what Trollbot says.
Here's what Christy Gordon was really thinking. You ever see a pregnant woman before? They have an entire mini human inside their body. Get out of your mom's basement. And by the way, she should be shot for naming your sorry ass the group.
Oh, nice.
Yo.
Mm.
Oh God!
Nice.
Stop picking on pregnant women. That's
that's
really
good.
the answer to the question. All right, last one we got is a former guest, our friend Aubrey Urbanowitz, who is down in Virginia, TV meteorologist chief down there. This was on Facebook. She was actually reporting on a tornado. So she obviously, what she did was interrupted the Bachelorette. God forbid.
Oh, geez.
She interrupted the Bachelorette because they had tornado warnings going on in her territory, which obviously doesn't happen a lot, right? But they're probably not used to it. But this was Annie Ott Young. She said, all I wanted to do was watch the Bachelorette before work. I've gotten a 15-plus minute tornado report for West Virginia and about 10 ums. You know, and so Maz and Dina, you guys know you're on TV, right? You got to fill time. I mean, you're filling time, right? You're trying to talk for, and she, I think, mentioned she was on for an hour straight. I think she said that here, because this was her response. She said, "Now that I can breathe for a second, let me say a few things I forgot to do in the midst of doing 500 things at the same time. I was on the air for an hour straight. Anyone who thinks I would choose to do that to hear myself talk is crazy. Do you know how exhausting wall-to-wall solo coverage is?"
Yes.
That is hard.
Yes.
Yeah.
You are
Yes.
wiped out when you are done.
Oh,
And
so
then, you know
anyway.
what? And people are like, "Hey, you're not digging ditches. You're not." I'm like, it's totally different. It's totally different because
Right.
That kind of emotional stuff
It's
drains
stress.
you.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
emotional.
because
stress.
you're
Different deal.
ad-libbing the whole time,
Right.
trying to come up with stuff, and yeah.
And if you make a mistake, there's high stakes.
There's
For
a
that.
troll bot there somewhere.
And I'm sure she's trying to do radar and show radar.
Yeah.
Timing
And that wasn't the only stupid troll that she was trying to respond to there. But I'm going to go ahead and type this in and see maybe what Aubrey's response might have been. Ooh, okay, this is a big one. So hold tight. She had a lot. She apparently was thinking quite a bit. Let's see.
Here's what Aubrey was really thinking. It is funny how you think that while I am on live TV, I also have time to be reading your stupid Facebook post. It is like you expect me to see that and think, oh, I had no idea people would be upset missing their reality TV show while I was trying to warn and save people about a dangerous storm. You are an East Coast storm pansy and have no idea what a tornado can do. I am shipping your ass first class to Oklahoma. You will learn what tornadoes can do and learn to get Hulu so you won't miss your precious fucking shows.
Get Hulu.
Good for her.
Get Hulu.
Oh my God.
That's the moral of that story. Just get Hulu. Don't worry about your Bachelorette. You watch it later. All right. So thanks for a little weather trollbot there. We're gonna shove her back in the garage for a little while.
For a while, yeah.
Wow.
For a little until we're gonna wash her mouth out with soap, right?
Yeah.
So she can come out with better. But hey, she's probably just reporting it like it is, right? she's probably just reporting what they were thinking. So I think that just about does it for this episode of Stormfront Freaks podcast. As always, thanks for listening or watching. Before I reveal our next guests, and yes, that's plural, I want to let you guys know that we'd like you to do us a favor at least. Leave a great review on your podcast app or social media account, and we're going to share it on our next show. And don't forget to subscribe to the show by hitting your podcast app subscribe button. It works just like a newspaper or magazine, except it's free, and it just guarantees that when we issue the next latest show, it'll come right into your podcast inbox. So special thanks to our guest, Nick Drieschman, tonight. Nick, thanks for joining us.
Good job,
I really enjoyed it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it was great having you on. And our next episode in 2 weeks, we're going to be recording on July 11th with a special trio of former Weather Channel meteorologists. We've got Catherine Prosiv, Crystal Eggers, and Maria LaRosa of Monarch Weather Consulting are going to be here. So
awesome.
Yeah, that's going to be an
I can't
awesome
wait for
show.
that one.
So if you'd like to watch the recording live, you can do it at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 o'clock Central. Check out our YouTube channel by searching Stormfront Freaks. So for MJ, for Maz, for Dina, and for Nick, I'm going to go ahead and signal the all clear, and we're going to catch you guys next time. So good night, everybody. All right. Thanks,
Cool.
Nick. You were
All right.
awesome, man.
Nick.
Good job.
Guys, this was super fun. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, you were really good.
Really
You had some
Yeah.
great
had fun with
stories.
you.
Yeah,
I'm
where do
glad
you get our bill, buddy?
No, I mean, I obviously love
Get it,
talking
get
about storms, but like, you know, when I get to talk about the tours, like it's not just for like sales purposes. I just truly enjoy it. So it's cool.
Great.
You guys were awesome. You were a lot of fun. So thanks.
You did a great job, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thanks for coming on, Nick, and also just another thank you for partnering with us here
Yeah.
early in
Yeah.
the chase season too. Hope that helped you out as well.
You know, it did. In fact, I had a couple emails that, you know, they were saying, I saw you guys, you know, your advertisement. So I think we may have pulled one or two off of it. So that's really good.
Oh,
But
sweet.
let's talk more about it in the future. And,
Sure.
you know, if you guys ever did want to come out, we could arrange something. Obviously, I'll help you guys out a bunch. Maybe we can partner up on something, but we'll figure something out.
Very
Yeah, I
cool.
definitely do. I'm ready to take vacation right now for next May.
Gotcha. Yeah. Well, just let me know. I'm around.
Okay.
Sounds good. All right,
Cool.
thanks, Nick. Again, happy anniversary. Tell your wife thanks for loaning
will.
it for us tonight.
I
Yeah.
will. No
Oh,
problem.
yeah. Have a great one.
All good.
right,
Thanks,
see ya.
guys. We'll
See you,
ya.
buddy.
All right. See ya.
Cool. All right. So one of the things I would say, MJ, you can take us off. Can he hear us? Yeah, he can hear us.
You can hear us.
Yeah.